How do you keep your walls organized? We've got a brand new one to figure out, so let's get started. I'm Tim Johnson. You're watching Shop Tool Reviews. A couple of years ago, we needed to reorganize our pegboard system because we had the old flaky masonite pegboard or whatever that stuff is made out of, and the hooks just seem to kind of fall off whenever they feel like it or at the most inopportune time. Anyway, we installed the wall control metal pegboard system, and we've been in love with it. As you can see behind us, we have rearranged this many times over the past couple of years. Anyway, we needed kind of a permanent place for our impact wrench shootout location, or our test rig where we test a lot of the impact wrenches, torque guns, things like that. And we needed a place on the wall to actually hang some stuff. So we looked at Wall Control. We realized they had a lot of new features or a lot of new accessories, as well as some new metal pegboard itself. So let's get over there, get started. We may do some time lapse, or may do some real time as well, kind of walking through the different things that we ordered, and then we'll come back and we'll wrap it up. We'll talk about pricing on this, as well as other things they have available and how you can get it too. This is the wall we'll be installing the wall control metal pegboard. As you can see, we've kind of framed it out, just a typical metal building, industrial style metal building. So we painted the walls black. Usually that's white, but what we didn't want is the white reflecting back through the black pegboard. So that's why we went ahead and painted that black. That's not perfect, but again, looking through the holes, you shouldn't be able to see that. And then we framed it out a little bit in wood and kind of boxed this in. We're going to do some different stuffs and adding to it later as well. And then what I did, I basically made me a mark here in the center, and I made sure that was plumb, because we want to start out being plumb, not necessarily as level. It should be level as well, because they should be square corners. But regardless, I wanted to make sure that I was plumb so that everything hung out fine. As I go to the edges, I can make my cuts where they need to be cut, and you know, if they're off by a 1/4 inch, I don't think we'll notice that bad. But like I said, I wanted to make sure my middle seam was dead on perpendicular, or dead on plumb. So that's where we're at right now. We're going to go ahead and get started on this. I wanted to point out a couple of things. So here is the metal pegboard we're going with. Now this is a, I believe they call it a matte finish. It's a little less than a semi-gloss. But anyway, and it's got somewhat of a texture on it as well. So we like this because our other black metal pegboard that's behind our kind of our main shots, if you will, when we do our intros and outros, it is a gloss black. That's all they really had, I believe, a couple of years ago, or that's what we chose. And it just reflects a lot of light, so we have to be careful with cameras and lights and that sort of thing. Make sure we're not, you know, kind of getting that starburst or any of that bright light in there. So this should really tone that down so we don't have that issue. So we were glad to see that they have this available. I think this is called their signature or custom color, something like that. But regardless, you can still get these, and they come in this 16 by 32. You can get different widths and heights, but their standard size is a 16 by 32, and that's what this is. Now, to give you an idea, this is one of the accessories. This is like a grinder holder here, and so you can see this is the gloss finish, or this is the regular finish of the metal pegboard if you get black, and you see quite a bit of difference here between the matte and the gloss black. In fact, we may even shoot this with like a flat or a matte black. We'll hang them up, make sure we're not getting any glares, and if we're not, we'll leave them. But if we are, we'll probably just shoot this with really quick with some matte or some flat black, and we should be good to go. Now, with each one of the panels, you get screws with it. You even get drywall anchors if you're hanging this on drywall. You may want to change the screws if you were actually hanging directly in the metal. Maybe use some drill tip self-tapping screws. But anyway, what we're going to actually do, these look like either number 8 or number 10 screws. Not good at my sizes when it comes to that, but anyway, they're pretty large diameter. So I'll probably pre-drill in these studs. I don't have to, but I will go ahead and pre-drill with like an 1/8 inch drill bit to get us started here. And as I mentioned, I want to make sure that we start out nice and plumb, because yeah, this test rig is not dead on level. So I want to make sure we're plumb to get started out. So as we hang, we should be good to go, and I'll probably gap this off the bottom right here. Switch over to a number 3 Phillips. Should fit those screws better. And I'm just going to start a few of them. Yeah, number 3 is definitely the way to go. Screws are too big for number 2. Looks like I'm dead on. Dead on my mark there, dead on my mark there. So I'm going to go ahead and run these in. Okay, this one's pretty much dead on. We just checked it with our level as well as our tape measure. Okay, I've got them all drilled and started, so I'm going to pull this one in tight. I could have run some cross braces across here to hit these holes, but I really don't think we need it. This is nice and sturdy as it is, just with 4 holes in here. We're not going to hang anything extremely heavy anyway, so we should be good. So now I've got to make some cuts and we'll fill those in. Now let's take a look here. Yeah, we should be good. We'll put a filler in there to take care of that. So this is not going to be permanent, but I went ahead and drilled some holes right here in the corners, and we'll run some screws on the exterior here. And again, not going to look the best for right now, but we will come back and clean this up. Once we kind of get everything laid out, we can come back and make it all pretty. Probably color code all those screws, probably fill in the holes here as well. These are just 1/2-inch holes, so you can get hole plugs for those as well. And then we'll put in our last piece here, and what we're trying to do is make sure that we're lining up all our lines and our holes, our lines and our dots. Just over just a touch. There we go. Now we actually, we were short a couple of pieces. We didn't order enough, our fault. Anyway, so we're gonna cut some more pieces to fill this in, to go ahead and fill up to that next brace up there. But anyway, we'll do that at a later time. But there's where we are. Let's put on some accessories and hang some tools. This one here is actually for hanging like grinders or polishers, something like that. So we're gonna go ahead and hang this one up high, because obviously you're gonna have like a rat tail type grinder hanging down. And what it uses is 2 of these bands. And the nice thing about this on the metal pegboard, especially if you've got these butted up like they're supposed to be, you can actually span a couple of different boards. So I can actually come over, slide it up, and then it locks down into place. Once it slides down, it locks down. We're actually going to skip 2 rows here. Lock in the top and bottom. Then we have an aerosol can holder, so like spray paints, WD-40, things like that. I think we'll put this about right here. Of course, we can move this around as we need to. So then like a bit holder, could be screwdriver holder as well. So we can hold our, I know we've got a couple of Allen wrenches that we use, a couple of T-handles up here. Those would sit in there, maybe even sit down in here a little better. Screwdrivers as well. So really kind of a versatile little holder here as to different size holes. And of course you could drill those out as you need it as well. This is just going to sit on a single rail. Then we even have a paper towel holder and a shelf. So this is a pretty cool little feature here. So that locks down into place. So now we have a paper towel holder and then a shelf up top if you want to put anything up there. Then there's just a whole bunch of other different hooks and different hoops and things like that. So for pliers, different size hooks, short hooks, long hooks, even 90 degrees. So all sorts of different accessories they have that will work with the slot. And then obviously you can use your old regular pegboard stuff as well. We're extremely happy with the way this turned out, and we will continue to tweak this obviously over the days to come. We don't have it finished like we really want it. Well, we've got different hooks and different shelves and things we're going to put on here. And we're going to have to determine what all things are we going to hold on this wall. Obviously, things like we're going to use on our test rig here. But there's other things we can do on this table, on this little workstation as well. So we'll continue to add to this. Wall Control has a slew or a plethora of items that you can use with this, from power tool hooks to like the grinder little station there, the shelves, the paper towel holder, the screwdriver holders, you name it, they have about everything, and you can custom tweak things. I know on our other wall, we've welded the backside of the hooks to other things to make little things to hold different things. So, you know, if you're at all handy, you can make different items as well. And it's going to utilize your typical pegboard hooks as well, although we hate using those now that we have the Wall Control stuff, because those hooks actually lock into the wall and they're not going to go anywhere, whereas the old round pegboard ones, you just kind of lift up and they fall out of place and all that stuff. Wall Control, made in the USA, great stuff. Powder coated, we love the matte finish. We did go ahead and paint this one here. In fact, you can see the paint still drying. You can see the paint on me. And this matte, or actually this is a flat Rust-Oleum, matches really well to whether this is a textured matte or textured flat. But this color is matching very well, and you see it drying out. You see it still looks a little glossy here. That's still drying out, and it's going to match very well. So we went ahead and sprayed this one. So I think we'll probably spray the rest of these accessories, at least the shelves, the large pieces, with this Rust-Oleum flat black to match the rest of this. But this is like a textured matte finish, so we really like it because we're not getting a lot of glare. We just get a nice small reflection of light there, but it's not bad whatsoever. It's not really bleaching it out. I'm bleaching on my face more than it is on that background there. So anyway, check it out from Wall Control. You can find it at wallcontrol.com. We will have a link in the description. Pricing. Everything that we built out here is going to be probably in the $300 range, maybe a little bit more. It depends on what type of accessories you're buying. They do have some kits. As I mentioned, this is a special color, so you can catch specials and things like that, and so you may get off a little bit easier or a little bit less. And if you don't have to, you know, fill up your wall, again, you can get away with just a couple of panels. So be sure to check them out. Also, keep track of us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. If you don't mind, would you hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done so already? And by all means, if you hated our video, give us a thumbs down. But would you let us know in the comments why? Have a great day and keep smiling.